Hi, welcome to the Come Up, the podcast where we dive into the exciting road of what's on the rise. I'm your host Abraham, and on today's episode, we are welcoming back Isaiah Swede and J.A. Levi. Thank you guys for coming back onto the podcast.
Thank you for having us.
Oh, happy to be here.
So,
We are rolling.
so before we continue, for those that watch the show, you can see that the setup is a little different. We're trying an in-person podcast instead of Zoom. We're just trying it out to see what works and what doesn't.
For the guinea pig.
Yeah, pretty much.
See where it goes. You'll see the great lighting.
Yeah. So I want to start off with how we met. So I think it was like been a year now.
Over a
It's
year.
over a year.
July 2022. I remember.
Funny thing is that we met, but we didn't technically meet because when we had the orientation, pretty sure we were all there. Because I just remember you yelling Los Baños
I remember
That's the
that.
one.
I
all the way
remember
back
that.
in the theater,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and I was thinking,
You know what's really funny about that? I got really acquainted that day with this British guy that I've never seen again after that. His name was Lloyd. So Lloyd, if you ever see this again, I still remember you, man.
but you know what was pretty funny though is that I remember thinking, hearing you from back there, not knowing it was you obviously at the time, but I was like, this guy's gonna be a problem. I was like, this guy's fucking annoying. Next thing you know, we have each other for class, and you're like, that was your thing, right? That you're like, I'm actually from.
It became my thing because
yeah.
it was. I was just being honest. Like, no, I'm from a town called Los Baños, and everyone went, "Who the fuck is this guy?" Like, but it kind of became my thing where I overshared. I was like, what's the phrase again? Where it's like it's almost like how much logic brings up being biracial. It's like, dude, we get it. It's like-
Yeah.
And I remember that day of yeah, fucking whatever the fuck that was that day. Orientation. I remember when I heard fucking Isaiah, I was like, this is the type of motherfucker that I'm gonna stay away from.
And look what
And I
happened.
was
Look what happened. You're here now.
happened. Mhm.
Inviting him to your
Mhm.
podcast.
Man, thank you.
But
That's the nicest thing you've ever said to me, actually.
I guess the actual question though is when we actually started talking and like actually like being cool with each other. Because I remember
Yes.
you wasn't until like the second or third month, right?
Yeah, some shit like that.
Post production, no,
No.
pre-production. When was
Intro to film. In middle of intro to film.
production was when we started talking, but when the fuck did we start getting acquainted with Isaiah?
So I would say for you, Abraham, specifically, it was because I remember it was right after intro to film
Mhm.
production with Ulrich Rocha. I remember we had our short film. I was already getting really acquainted with Ricardo and Xander and Michael more so. After that first month, we had already kind of initiated. I hit it off with those guys. But then I remember you saying that you were an actor and that you were saying that you were in
The
a
group,
short
yeah.
film. Or no, I'm sorry, a short series you
Short
guys had
series,
just filmed,
yeah.
which we now know what it is.
Yeah.
Very strange when I think back at that now. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, that's what that was.
Yeah.
But I remember talking and telling you I was also looking into the same passion, and I remember we were able to hit it off from that. And then it was also because you were right next door, and I remember thinking like, oh yeah, and then I properly introduced myself to you guys, and then I feel like you guys went, okay, this guy's not so weird after
He's
all.
not so weird after all. Definitely has a mouth on him, but he's not weird after all. He's
Yeah.
not weird. We can. It's bearable. You know, it's not
Mhm.
like.
That's usually how it is. Most people just need to warm up.
Yeah. But yeah, we definitely we met at film school, and I gotta say, I think we've since then. I think we've again. I mean, we hit it off, but I feel like we've done a lot together. I think the most recent thing we've done all together was that short film.
Yes.
Mhm.
We all had a nice position on it.
Yeah, we did a short film for those of you listening or watching. Was it two or 3 weeks ago?
Yeah, give or take.
Some shit. like
Mid
that.
October.
Yeah,
I'm
where
recording this.
you were DP, right?
Oh, I guess I was more camera op.
Camera up.
What was her name? Jess. She was more of the DP. I mean, she allowed me to have input.
Yeah.
However, she was definitely more of the DP in that.
So yeah, we were part of a project where Swede was camera op. Abraham was you were gaffing or
Grip and electric.
grip and electric, and I actually had the opportunity to act in that film. So, you know, and then speaking of which, we actually, because I know you took a month off school, so we had you for a variety of months, and then you had to take a month off. So Isaiah unfortunately wasn't able to continue with us in the
Yeah.
same class, but that project again was when we all got reacquainted again and on the same all together, and it felt like we never left. I mean, it felt you know,
Yes.
like, and here we are again, you know, together. So
I say that same thing with everybody, not even just with you guys, with all those other guys. Let's see, who's another friend from film school, of course, and everyone else I mentioned. But it's always going to be that integral group at the end of the whatever year we graduate. Always going to be that startup group. Like, oh yeah, those guys,
Right.
they were the ones. We were all went through the field together. I feel like I mean day one we all don't really know what to expect. We were all kind of thinking, not that we're unsure of it, but just like okay, what's going to come out of this?
Right.
But I would go as far to say this kind of example is the best part about film school is the connections you make
Yeah.
Mhm.
and the networking.
Would you say that both of you guys getting connected with people you've met, and even that for you, the other people that you met in the other classes, would you say that you've actually been able to been offered some opportunities, or
Yeah.
talk more about that? You know?
Yeah, to answer your question, absolutely. And I would say with some of the other people, like for example, when I took the month off and I was put in a whole new group with whole new faces I'd never seen.
Dumbest shit you've done.
One more time?
Dumbest shit you've done. Because now you're not with us.
Yeah. Sorry. But I remember, again, it was with good reason. That month I had a PA job and I made some connections there and I was really happy about that. Not to say, like, it's not even just the connections you make for the sake of film's sake. You just never know who you might meet. Great people, just like anyone else. And I remember funny enough, I remember that was when I got let go from my job too. So I remember that was actually a very revealing month for me, to say the least. That was in March of 2023. Excuse me. And then going on with the connections I made with that other group. Oh, thanks for fixing that.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm burping that beer. But yeah, with some of the other people, they wanted to put me in their film school. It's just, to tell you the truth, it is a blessing and a curse because I'm away from you guys, which does suck, but you also get to branch off and meet other people that you probably wouldn't have met otherwise.
I definitely would say, because like you said, obviously being part of other opportunities outside of school, you definitely meet people and you hit it off with people outside of them. But it's like as soon as that project's over, that film's over, you rarely see them again, or talk to them. It's like
Yeah.
it sucks. It's like
Unless you really have to make an effort for
exactly, yeah. But it's like, well, these guys were pretty cool, and we hit it off, but it's just another project, on to the next one kind of deal. But it's with you guys, it's like you said, it's always gonna be that like the stardom group, It's like I can reach out to you guys if I need something. I was like, yo, let's work on something. Like
Yeah.
I know you guys, you know what I'm saying? So I think that's
Oh, yeah,
pretty
fantastic.
cool.
Absolutely. I would say the integral part. How about you, Mr. Host? What would you say was definitely what is the key thing you would take away from film school so far?
Damn, I guess it's just meeting everyone. Best decision I made going to that school. Because before I wasn't supposed to go to that LA film school. Because the only reason I went to it, because it kind of was my last choice. But it was the best thing ever. Best
Again,
thing
everything
ever.
happens for a reason.
Hell yeah.
Long story short, the other colleges didn't want this dude.
Yeah, they went knife away, yo. Abraham, fuck that shit.
Fuck that guy.
LA Film School.
LA Film School. They accept
Yeah.
anyone with money.
Yeah.
True.
And no
Pretty
credit to
much.
show for it.
No credit to show for it.
Yo, you want to go into debt
Welcome
for
in.
it? Sure.
Got the money? Come on in. But
course,
again, like
course.
you said, I mean, I myself, not to get obviously too personal with my situation or anything, but I mean, I took out a loan. I think you have too, but
I did too. I have a fairly minor one, but I did.
Yeah, it's like obviously we're not the only ones. People have take loans out to go to these kind of schools, and even then, it's a it's a private school, so it's pretty expensive. But I honestly, like you said, I have no regrets with my decision, especially because it's something that I'm really interested and passionate about. Just film, and even though I do long run would want to act, I think getting a round view, insight into what goes into filmmaking in general, I think is just very beneficial, and I think to any actor as well, I would encourage them to not just be on camera, but work behind the camera too. So
Yeah, I think it's also what you said is the best thing about going to film school as an actor is to learn as much around the camera, be as rounded as you possibly can, because you never know what the perspective gives you and everything that could go in tandem with it. It's always nice to educate.
I think that's also for anyone, be in front and behind. Because I did be in front with Isaiah that one time.
I saw that.
I remember when you put that.
Yeah.
It's funny. You and Matt kind of said the same thing, that it was funny co-starring opposite of me, because it was like you were able to feed off of me a lot. Not to toot my horn, but I mean, I'm just. I feel like I have a lot of energy for that kind of thing.
Okay, that's the only. You're the only reason I was able to actually fucking continue that shit.
But yeah, I mean, speaking of acting, Isaiah, how would I ask this? What would you say? Not even the difference between, because I know you've worked behind camera as well, and I know that you obviously prefer acting as well. But what would you say has helped you in working behind the camera? That has helped you as an actor? You know, to whether it be like better understanding what it is to be an actor, or maybe just understanding the concept of filmmaking in general. I mean, how would you say it's benefited you?
I would say right now, from my experience, the best thing is, I mean, we all know a couple of things. One is, we all know the Christian Bale freak out on Terminator Salvation.
Yeah.
Now, one thing is, you really need to give actors space. If you're not needed at the moment, then just stay in your lane. And that phrase cannot speak more than a million words. I would even go as far to say, is because actors really do need their space. They need their space to get into character for whatever they need to do, to feel whatever their character is trying to feel. Granted, every actor may be different, but that was one. Especially, I remember being on my first PA shoot, and it went well. It went great, and everyone was great. But I remember I was there with one of my friends who had got on, and the lead actor, it was funny, he kept laughing and making everyone laugh, but it was a serious scene.
Yeah.
And he kept making me laugh in turn, and the DP had to tell me, like, you need to be quiet. He was very nice about it, but he went, you need to be quiet. Like, the actors need to get in the mood. And I went, oh, I'm sorry. But, so that really put me in my place. I went, oh, yeah. Like, excuse me, I'm so sorry. I felt terrible. But it was just a moment, you know, you live and you learn. And beyond that, I would go as far to say, the other thing, too, is learning camera placements as an actor. It's like most people that are actors, I've heard stories, again, I don't know anybody in particular, but it's more the thing of actors think, like, why are they doing all this? Why are they taking so long to set up? Or why does the camera need to be there? It's like, the camera needs to be there for in these very weird positions for there is a reason behind it, believe it or not. It's like, you understand these things. I think it makes you a little bit more patient, because it makes you a little bit more empathetic.
Right.
See, I don't know if that first part recorded with the camera, but oh well,
Is
oh
it
well.
recording now?
Yeah.
There you go. You're good. As long as this is,
Mhm.
Is it recording the audio?
Yep.
Dude.
Yep.
You
Yep.
on that. Okay,
Yep.
alright.
Yep.
No, the audio's been going.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
yeah, yes.
There's gonna be video for the second half of the podcast, because we're gonna have to put like a little thumbnail of us just whatever.
It's
But-
gonna be like that thing. Oh, my camera overheated. Just make up some bullshit.
No, 'cause we are all drinking.
Yeah.
And then yeah.
This
So-
is why you don't drink. This is so unprofessional. What are you,
so
Joe Rogan?
Estrella Jalisco.
I just know, because I feel like that guy always drinks and smokes on his podcast. So it's like, but yeah, that'd be good for him.
Estrella
I would do that.
Jalisco, if you're watching this, sponsor me.
What
I
about
need the
Stella-
money.
Wait,
I need the money.
Artois.
I need the money.
No, but anyway,
Um,
yeah, that's my answer.
And I was just gonna say, definitely understand that, like I said, actors need their space, and every actor is different. I guess I would say, and obviously not to get too into that whole Christian Bale, because I know what you're talking about, that incident. I guess if it's one thing that I picked up from being behind the camera and everything, it's just having respect for the people that are working behind the camera. It's just because, and Abe, you can back me up on this. We've worked with actors who kind of, in a way, try to run the set,
They
you know,
overstep.
and it's like
They overstep.
they feel
Yeah.
this entitlement, you know, like I'm it, you know, you're shooting me kind of deal. And then I just personally, to me that shit just doesn't fly, you know. And like I said, oh, you want to say something? Go ahead. Just like that, just having that respect, dude. I mean, because you know it gets frustrating. There's times where, like, in our case, at one of the weeks we were shooting for production too, the equipment wasn't working. You know, like the tripod was unsteady. Something was broken, and it's not their fault. It's not the cinematographer's fault. It's not, you know. So it doesn't help when your talent is kind of like, yo, what's going on? Can we hurry up? Kind of, it's like, that's why I feel that was benefit. I was able to see also what happens behind. It's like to have that much respect more respect for the people that are working behind. Because filmmaking in general, I think, is a group project. It's not just director, actor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a whole team. It takes more than one person to do it. You know what I'm saying?
Everyone has a very crucial part. That's what I say. There's no this is the most important role. It's all the roles are equally just as important. The actor, the director, everybody.
Exactly. It's like, sure, obviously we could all agree it's the actor, the director
Of course.
that win the awards. But
Mm-hmm.
think about it. I mean, who lit up that scene? Who made sure that audio was good during that scene? And make sure that the movement, the opping was all. I mean, that's what I mean. Like it's all these little things that make up this big thing. You know what I mean? So again, that if anything, that's one thing that I've learned that's benefited me as an actor to kind of just be patient. And I do get what you mean. How like getting into your space. Obviously, as an actor, you want to get into your role. You want to get to your character. But I guess it's just finding that balance. I would say definitely. If we're behind 15 minutes, like we're supposed to be shooting already, obviously get that frustration. But it's like I guess at the end of the day, I just kind of think about it like, well, I'm doing what I love doing, so I get let's just push through and let's make this film.
Yeah. What I would say too, on top of that, is there's a lot of. No, I shouldn't say that. I was about to say there's a lot of stigma behind film students, but I wouldn't go as far to say stigma. That's probably not the right word, but I have had experiences where people have told me that like working with film students, you get a lot of egotistical people that come out of there. It's like you're not there to be smart; you're there to learn, and that's the biggest thing. And the thing about film students, I would say, because there are plenty of filmmakers that didn't go to film school or whatever.
Right.
Is it's really funny because you get that kind of thought process of like, I think when you were saying the perspective, you learn everything so quickly. It's like you didn't really get at least this time to sit there and do it unless you major in that field, like
Right.
cinematography or
Yeah.
directing or whatever it is you're trying to do. But that is really what I would say and go on.
It's funny that you say that too. Like the whole, not obviously not stigma's not the right word, but I remember Abe, how we were working on a project, and we're not gonna name this actor's name. It's his name's out there. He
I kind of told them earlier.
Off the air.
off the air. But
yeah, okay.
this guy was one of those actors who at certain points it looked like he was trying to tell the director what to do, kind of thing. And I don't want to make assumptions, just put words in his mouth, but again, it's we're film students, but it doesn't mean we're just a group of people just winging it. It's like, sure, we're learning, but it's not like we have no clue what we're doing. We're like we know how to set up the camera, we know where the lights are supposed to go. It's not like we're all like, let's try this. How about do this? So again, stigma's not the right word, but
There is definitely something to the name of it, or at least
right. Like you hear film student, and let's say for any other actors to hop on a student project, I would see why there would be reasons for them to kind of like, well, you guys don't. It's supposed to be done this way, but it's like, there's
There's a ground.
This is ground.
I would also say too is that it's at least when you would say so. Going back to what you were saying about the kind of thing is ego does not go far in this town. Like, and I think we've all noticed. Of course, you guys are from LA. I'm not, but it's more of the case of LA's a big city. It's an enormous city with
Yeah.
many sections. The industry, that's a very small town.
And it's funny you say that because people would think Hollywood, somebody, but I don't think people understand is like people talk and people. That's where the term blacklist comes because we could be on a short film project right now. Somebody gets out of hand, whatever. If the director were to say something like, "Yeah, this guy did this on set," believe it or not, I don't think people realize, but again, we're a small industry. That person's name is gonna go around, and while there isn't no like legit blacklist, they know the name, they know that incident that happened on set, and they're not gonna want to hire you. So it's we're going back to ego, and I remember our directing 2 teacher told us, you need to be a little egotistical to survive in this industry, which I saw that perspective. And you have only have production management, but
Oh, you're
it was-
talking, directing 2, you said?
yeah, that teacher told
Okay.
us that you need. And at first I was like, because I think us and you guys know me, it's like you said, ego doesn't go in life in general, doesn't really take you far. But when he said, well, you need to be at least egotistical to survive in this industry, I kind of saw where he was coming from, because I feel that if you're too, just
You
doing
could be
whatever
pushed around really quickly.
pushed around really quickly.
You need to know when to stick up for yourself, but don't overstep.
Exactly. So again, there is the balance. It's, while you may not, we may not be egotistical people, we definitely need to know when to stand our ground, when it's important to be egotistical. You know what I'm saying? But I definitely agree with you. Ego really doesn't take you far, and I would say, in general, just be kind, dude. Just be a genuine person, and I feel being a genuine person will get you far, and in this industry too.
It's also a case of being careful of. I mean, I don't know if you guys have experienced. I'm sure you have. I don't know if you have, Abraham, but
I was tripping for a second there.
it's just a light.
Just like,
No, but of course, you get a lot of people that don't do what they say they're gonna do, and that's always the case of a lot of talkers. A lot of people that say, "Oh yeah, I'm all for it," and then nothing ever gets done, or nothing ever moves forward with whatever they're trying to do. Really.
yeah.
Yeah, of course, we all have a project we're all looking forward to. One of our fellow film students is finally making his dream come true. We'll probably promote it at the end of the episode if you guys want to check it out. I'm sure he would appreciate that.
Which one was this?
Pathogen. Ricardo Garcia.
Ricardo.
Well,
Ricardo Garcia. We'll promote it later.
But I still need to hit him up.
Well,
I'm gonna
no.
be on the pod.
Oh, on the
On the
podcast.
pod.
Oh, okay. Well, you'll be there, and he'll be here. I'm sure he would love to be
Yeah.
here.
But actually, we should then that's something down the line too. Kind of just getting.
I'm sure he would
Everyone-
love it.
He had to get a whole table of the guys that we went to school with, kind of. But you haven't really talked much, bro, and you're the host. Is there anything you want to add on or something? I mean, I feel like we're taking over a little bit.
I'm good at going with the flow. If you guys have questions,
No, please.
Yeah,
take some-
please. Is there what do you want to? Is there anything that you want to ask, or otherwise we're just gonna keep
The
going.
truth is, I didn't really fucking prepare. I was gonna go for with the flow. Whatever happened, happened.
All right, so I guess we're just taking from
Well,
here.
Yeah,
well,
go
let me
for
ask
it.
you this: is when it came to you were saying initially about going to film schools. What was the other ones you considered?
That's a
USC.
good question.
I had thought about USC, UCLA, and then
UCLA, that would've-
yeah,
But I know UCLA's. Apparently, they got a lot of prestigious. But good,
yeah,
continue.
and then Northridge was my top one.
Really, you would have
Yeah.
went all the way to Northridge.
Yeah, I was thinking about dorming.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That would have been interesting.
That would have been an experience for
Got rejected. I ended up saying, "Fuck it, I'm gonna play to LA Film School,"
Of course.
and then here we are.
But again, like you said, you have no regrets. So,
Yeah, I don't.
But if you would have gone into any of these other schools, would it have been film too that you'd be focusing?
Yeah, film.
Okay, so you knew that film was something you wanted
Yep.
to be a part of.
Yeah,
Okay,
ever since high school, I knew film was the shit I was gonna do for the rest of my life.
And what? 'Cause
Nice.
I know for the most people say, and I know how we talked about this during that one shoot, how acting obviously was like the passion and just looking at those actors, and I think passion is a thing for everyone. But what would you say was the driving force, or like that moment, if you remember, was like, I got to be a part of this,
Like it's just, I guess it's just like growing up, I would always look for like behind the scenes, all the Fast and Furious movies, and then ever since I would watch them, and I was like, that's what I want to be part of.
Which one? Which Fast and the Furious
Yeah,
movie?
I want. Yeah, that's another
Yeah, I
discussion
was-
too. What's your favorite Fast and Furious?
Let's sidebar a little bit.
Let's sidebar a bit.
I think my favorite would be Tokyo Drift.
Okay, I'm so happy you said
Tokyo
that because I
Drift.
think that's my favorite one.
I think we could all agree Tokyo Drift is
Uh-huh.
underrated, but
Hell
dude,
yeah.
it is.
I love that movie.
Mhm.
I think that's such a great film. I it's funny. I remember seeing that in theaters when I was like 6, and when it came out, in 2006. I remember thinking I didn't even know it was a Fast and Furious movie until the end when I saw Vin Diesel. And I went,
Right,
hey,
yeah.
that's Vin Diesel. I knew him when I was 6 because I did like Pitch Black when I grew up. I remember that actually came out the year I was born, but I remember thinking that movie was interesting. And then Tokyo Drift, I remember thinking that's the same dude. What's his name? The Asian guy who plays Han.
Yeah, him, Han.
Yeah, but we'll call him Han. I'm so
We'll call
sorry.
Han, yeah.
We don't remember his name, but yeah, he was. I remember thinking he was really good. And I remember almost crying when he died, and I went,
That
no,
part was sad.
not
I don't
Han.
know. Have you guys seen some of the newer
Yeah,
ones?
he comes back.
Yeah.
That's a whole
This
can of
whole
worms.
Thing.
Hmm,
That's
man.
a discussion.
Like, well, part of me is like, I'm glad they brought him back, but at the same time, he blew up in the car. But there
They-
goes the camera.
That's right.
But,
We just,
but
don't
fuck,
worry about
fuck the
it.
camera at this point. But at the same time, like, we didn't see him blow up either.
Well, have you seen how it allegedly happened in the new one?
It was the
It was a doppelganger,
yeah,
or like not a doppelganger.
some type of like AI shit.
Yeah, it wasn't real.
Yeah.
Like he wasn't actually in the car, so he faked his death, pretty
Mhm,
much.
Pretty much.
Yeah, and then
Which is kind of cool, but then at the same
it's just
time, it's like
those movies, man.
they should have just kept him dead.
Yeah, but Tokyo Drift, that is so underrated, and it's one of the best. You
I think
know,
it's the
that's-
best one. Yeah.
Like, I have a lot to say. The cinematography, dude, just and you would think it's like one of those like cringy movies, like, oh, they're trying to do the spin-off in Tokyo, but no, dude, if you watch this shit, it's like, what? It's so visually pleasing. It's like, and it's like the color schemes and the Tokyo at night, the cars, dude, I just love it, and the soundtrack and everything, I wonder if you know
Yeah.
how we live in
Dude.
Tokyo.
Oh
Like
my
that
God,
scene,
that's so-
when they pull up to that,
When they go up to that car lot and that meat, I was
Yes.
thinking that was peak cinema.
that was peak cinema. That was, and they got Bow Wow. Yeah, Bow Wow, and you're like,
I love Lucas. Was it Lucas Till? I think, or Lucas Black? No, I'm sorry, Lucas Black. That's his name. Who's the main character? He plays Sean. And it's funny because I'd never seen that actor before, and I want to see him in more movies.
Yeah.
And he was so good in that.
in
I
that
loved
film he was pretty
his
good.
trio, him, Han, and then the whole intertwine with the Yakuza and what's his name, Brian T, who plays the main antagonist. That movie was just had no business being as good as
Being
it was.
that good,
It had
but
no business being that
It
good.
was pretty good though. I mean, the story and just, I don't. There's a lot to say about it. I don't.
Yeah.
We could go off.
However, I will say that is the biggest fucking 17-year-old I've ever seen because the main character is supposed to be like in
he's
high
in
school.
high school, right? Yeah,
it's
high
like
school.
that's the classic like 2000s thing where high schoolers look like they were fucking.
They got late 20-year-olds playing high schoolers, and being able to pull it off, and we believe it. That's why us growing up is like, what, like.
It's funny because again, I'm sure you guys were kids too when it came out, but it was like. It was just weird because I grew up and I went, "This is how kids look."
That's not how is that how I'm supposed to look like when I'm 17? Like, dude, I'm like 5 foot right now. I don't think I can be that
It's
big.
like hold up.
Yeah,
But yeah,
Tokyo Drift, man. That's what great movie.
yeah. No, we could go on about it. But
Yeah, lots of
but-
words. I don't even know, dude.
if I had to say more on it, it was definitely when you were going to make the can't talk. The cinematography of the film was that kind of. I feel like it had a lot of that same grittiness that a lot of those films of the 2000s had. But it's funny because I feel like it got really popularized once Michael Bay, started pumping out the Transformers films.
Yeah.
Because by 2007, of course, we got the first Transformers film, and it had that really grittiness where like you had that green kind of like yellowish tint over it.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, what do they call it? The Mexico lens? Where, like, you go into Mexico for whatever reason, everything becomes yellow.
Yeah.
It's like, what's this Mexico lens? Why is everything so yellow? It's like, is Mexico yellow? I didn't know that.
Nah, that's just.
It's like, no.
Yeah.
I've been to Mexico. But, yeah.
What was the? See,
Yes,
that's,
but watching those movies behind the scenes is what got me into.
there you go. I was like,
Yeah.
we sidebar. We said we'd go back, but I was like, wait, now I forgot where we went back.
Well, pretty much going back to it, yes. The reason why you decided to join the industry was because of the behind the scenes you said.
Behind the scenes of not only the Tokyo Drift, but any movie that I would search up. Was
So
like
my question now is that would you have an interest in like doing BTS then? If that's I would assume that if that's what interested you, would you want to be a part of any, or was it that was just like, again, I know my question was like what drove you to it, but would you say that was it though, that the behind the scenes was what drove you into it, and now you just want to be like part of a bigger, like actually film stuff, or what would you say? Or is it, like,
Actually, fucking go into
actually
it.
going into it, like
Mhm.
not just BTS. Like
Yeah.
the BTS was cool and all, but I actually want to shoot
Yeah,
this shit. Like
pretty much.
that's what's up. Yeah, that was what I was.
See,
asking.
I'm all for doing BTS as well, but actually doing shit.
Here's my question to both of you guys: is if not film, what do you think you'd be doing right now, or what would you think you'd be pursuing?
Pilot.
Pilot,
Probably
really?
be a pilot.
Like airplane pilot?
Yeah,
like,
airplane flight, commercial.
Some kind of aviation.
Yo.
Yeah,
Aviation was something I thought about as well. Well, at least at one point. Another thing I did consider was, for the longest time, was actually law enforcement. I think we might have spoken about this.
Yeah, I think you mentioned it.
Well, the biggest reason that is because I've always thought I would have had a big hand in. Well, one, I'm not going to lie to you, as much as I'm a loudmouth or whatever you want to say. And I know I am, but I feel like I'm. Okay, this is going to sound a little tooty horny, but I feel like I'm very fair when it comes to people, so I feel like you need that.
Yeah.
And that was definitely. I've always thought detective work would be an interesting thing to go into eventually to work my way up to. So that was always a secondary profession I thought I always wanted to go into.
That's what's up. And then my other question is, so we know as filmmakers, as actors, is that we this career, this thing we're chasing, this dream that we're chasing.
It gets lonely.
We're not. We can get to that. This guy just did. We can get to that.
Let me feel sad later.
Yeah, exactly. You're not wrong, bro. You're not wrong. But damn, it's good. Let's warm up to that before we. I was gonna say, this guy just straight to like lonely. We could, bro. We can talk to a therapist after this. Is like it's
Psychiatry.
psychiatry.
Truth serum's enough.
We'll get you to a therapist. But I was gonna say, going into it, we know that chasing this dream. I mean, especially in the acting world, that the point that like, how would I say it? It's a very small success rate.
Yeah.
Very, very small success rate. And I mean, it's even for us in filmmaking in general. You know, getting a like a nice settled job, whether it be editing or whatnot. It's hard, you know. But regardless of the fact, what is it? With that in mind, what is it? Would you say is it that drives you to keep going? And I guess I'll answer first to this. To me, is again, I think it just goes as far to show like how passionate you say you are about it. You know, like personally, you know. Fame is not the end goal. You know, it's about telling a story. It's about sharing, inspiring, helping, and, you know, even in rare occasions, saving people with your films, you know, with your performances and whatnot. And I think that's the driving force, the motivation as to why I do it. And if I never even see the fame, is no problem. But I feel personally that I'm gonna keep doing this until I'm old and just can't do it anymore. You know, because again, it's something that and again, it goes to show, like, I truly am passionate about this. And, you know, I'll probably be 50 years old. Still, maybe even I can, in short films and whatnot, just really trying to inspire people, you know what I'm saying? So I wanted to ask you guys, what is it that you would say keeps you going, even though you know that the success rate is pretty small?
If I had to say more on that, it's definitely more of the... It is definitely the inspiration you were saying in terms of how you can go into this industry, whether it's acting, directing, or anything. And there's an old quote that it says I mean, we all know the quote. It's the journey, not the destination, and it's what makes you stronger as a person, just in general, is to keep pursuing even through thick and thin when things get tough. But I mean, this is kind of a weird example, but I'll just say is like. There's a lot of artists, not even just in film. There's artists in music and in just, I don't know, series or shows or web series even, that all talked about how their work had inspired somebody to do something or had gotten this person through a tough time.
Yes.
Knowing that I was able to help somebody by doing that would be, I don't even want to say an honor. That'd be something far more than that. I know there are times where I've been, you know, maybe not super low in life, but it was just more of a, you know, I wasn't having the best time, and then I watch something, and it makes me laugh, and I go, you know, maybe this is worth living. I'm just kidding. No, but Yeah, you get my point. Is
I know exactly what you're talking about. Because that would be my reason that drove me to, even when I knew I had the slightest interest in film in general, was when I was a kid. And like you said, we don't gotta go into details, but like, I had a rough coming up, but having those downtimes, and it's like, am I ever gonna get out of this? And watching a film that either gives you hope, and sometimes it's just a laugh, like watching a comedy, or like a rom-com or something. It's just like, I needed that to make me feel better, and I feel good now.
it's also the case of, I mean, I've always said is some of the funniest people or some of the most inspirational people or some of the most damaged.
Exactly.
Jim Carrey is a good example of
Yes.
that. Robin Williams, the late Robin Williams.
Yeah.
And it's more of the case of what you were saying is I feel that it's the therapeuticness that comes with it, and also the case of, for example, a film I love that I always watch is, like, obviously we all know Jim Carrey's The Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, given that, whether you dealt with a terrible breakup, that movie, they had no way of coming back. Their minds were completely erased, for those who haven't seen it, spoiler alert. but it's more of the case of just watching that, and I went, wow, it really does show that two very opposite people can come together. And I would always say, when it comes to the being involved in the industry, growing up, I was always it's coming from somebody who has crippling ADHD, it's like, I was always just moving and going, and then people said either I was funny or they're annoying, get the hell out of here, but I felt that I could have turned that into a strength by acting out something on camera, because it's not even just being funny, it's putting that energy towards a performance.
Making something out of it,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Well, and then what is it that keeps you going, even though you know that you may not actually ever see that,
I guess not disappointing. Turn not to disappoint that 10-year-old with the dream. To be honest, this is one of the top reasons.
And I think and it's funny that you say that. I think that's the reason for all of us as well. I think at the end, it's like being able to grow old without regret, and saying that you actually tried, knowing that you did it, instead of wondering what if, which I feel you hear a lot of people saying that that's the last thing you want, but really put yourself into that perspective, into those eyes, and it's like, wow, really thinking back on it. I mean, we can go as far as to think of, like, you ever had a crush on a girl that you never asked out, and maybe sometimes every now and then you think about, like, what if I had just freaking gotten, even if I had gotten rejected, just to say that I asked her out, and be able to live with that, like, I did it, I have no regret. So I think it's that. I know that's kind of a little small perspective of the entirety of what we're talking about, but I think if I'm like 80 years old in a wheelchair or something, I would think, like, I would say, like, wow, I gave it all I had, and you know what? That's the best anybody can do, and I am content. You know what I mean? Like,
at the end of life, you always regret the things you didn't do more than the things you
Exactly.
did do, and that's what I always say is, at least I could say I tried for those. I mean, again, I come from a small town where most people just stay there. And not to say that's all people do, but... Oh, it's called Los Banos, by the way.
I was about to ask that.
It's called Los Banos, but no. You can check it out. It's 209. It's right on the 5, 2 hours south of San Francisco, 2 hours north of Bakersfield. Anyway. Anyway. But it's... No, again, I come from a small town. It's farmland. It's just... People stay there. It's less than 50,000 people, and to tell you the truth, it gives a lot of perspective if people have small town mentality of, like, they just want to stay there, they're fine being there, they were born there, why would I leave? I'm happy here. It's like, what are you happy doing there? Being, it's like, it's just weird to me, because it's like people will always do that in life where they, I don't know if it's lack of confidence that they do or something that's holding them back. And,
Probably.
I'm not here to judge anybody for that. If you're happy, great for you. But it's something I knew I couldn't do.
right.
It was something I knew I wanted to, despite whatever may come with it, I want to go out there and chase. And I have the means to do it. Why not do it? And that brings me to now.
There you go.
Hey, so how was that, the whole transition from small town to now being in LA?
I would go as far to say coming from, again, like I said, being just from California, it's a little different because I grew up going to LA a lot. I grew up going to the Bay Area, San Francisco, plenty. All my family, or most of my family, is from Santa Cruz County. Have you guys ever been to Santa Cruz? I think I might have asked you that.
No.
You've been to San Francisco, right?
San Francisco, yes.
Have you been to the Bay Area?
Shit, not since I was like 3-4 years old. which
Okay.
I don't remember any of it.
Yeah. No, I'm just curious to know. But I would go as far to say one is everything over there in the Central Valley, the San Joaquin Valley to be exact, is very. Everyone there thinks very similarly, and it's very much. Don't get me wrong. I mean, it's always going to be my home, but it's very much. You go to work, you stick to that 9 to 5 kind of idea.
Yeah.
If you want to pursue anything, you go. And there's a common joke that goes around is like, the Central Valley is what really does separate Los Angeles from the Bay Area, because the Bay Area is more city, Los Angeles clearly more city, and in between all of that are all these little towns, farmland usually, and everything's so far apart. Everything's very spread apart. Here in Los Angeles, it's you cross the street, you're in the next city, you're in the next
Yeah.
town, and you have multiple towns in a row, 5 towns all in the same county. It takes you 30 minutes to get through the next town just because there's so much traffic. Over there, it takes you 30 minutes to get to the next town because it's just that far.
Yeah.
But no traffic. It's just very different.
Right.
So I will say that was one thing.
Yeah, because I know right here where I live, I'm not gonna say where the fuck I live, but right here, you guys remember
South Bay.
the McDonald's right here? Yeah, I don't know if you remember we passed it. Across the street, different city.
Exhibit A.
Yeah.
Again, I live, in this area as well. No, but over there, right there on Long Beach Boulevard, for those who know, is you intersect. I think. I mean that boulevard goes for a while, but I think it crosses at least 4 cities. It goes from Compton, Linwood, to Paramount. I'm sorry, not Paramount. Huntington Park and Southgate, and it goes for a while.
Because right here, the McDonald's across the street is a college. That's a different city. You go to the other side, towards the end, it's a different one. You go like maybe 3 minutes south north, you're in a different one. 2 minutes down west, you're a different one. I'm
It's
like,
very. But what I will say this though, again, this isn't anything really to show, but I feel like Los Angeles as a city, something I have noticed is that I hate using this word, but I will say that it's very separated in terms of like how it is. Where like most of the demographic you will find is in this section of LA, and LA is very much in sections. You have the Valley, you have the East Side, the West Side, South Bay, South Central. It's all spread out.
East LA.
Well, the East Side would be
Yeah,
East LA, Alhambra.
yeah.
I mean, I'm sure there's different names. People call it West Side. What is that? Culver City, Santa Monica. Palos Verdes.
Palos Verdes is down here.
No, that's South Bay. You're
That's
right.
South
And then
Bay.
that's another section, South Bay. It's like everything's right. And then there's the Valley. You got North Hollywood and Burbank. In places like where I was used to going to when it came to the city-esque was San Francisco. You have the Tenderloin. Don't go there. And it's very ghetto. I mean, I hate using that word too, but I'm just being honest. That's what they even refer to it as. And then I have a family in Oakland and East Oakland even, and those are also very different. It's very different in the Bay Area than it is here in Los Angeles, I will say.
You guys need to use the restroom at all? You guys
No,
want to
you
take
want
a
to
break?
pause? Do you want to pause for a minute? Yeah, let's pause for a minute.
We're going to all right, we're back.
Okay, we're back.
It's recording.
It's recording.
We are rolling.
All right, so Abe, going back to how you were talking about being a filmmaker gets lonely. Yeah, it does, and Isaiah and I know you can agree, and I think all filmmakers who are listening or anyone who's listening, it does get
Following
lonely.
your dreams gets lonely.
Exactly, just following your dreams
Mhm.
in general gets lonely. Why? Because I don't think people take into consideration that there's sacrifices need to be made. Whether it's spend time with your family and friends, you got to cut the partying. It's not to say that you can't party at all. No, it's just if you were doing it on a constant every weekend basis, that's probably gonna be like once a month kind of thing now. Sacrificing sleep for sure. That's something I'm
Especially with the month we had in P2.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
Bro.
I literally, I not even to exaggerate. I think I've just about averaged 4 hours of sleep for the past 6 months. And I'm not complaining about it. Why? Because I've been constantly working on things. And of course, another thing to talk about is how we were talking about people don't see the struggling side of being a filmmaker or even an actor at that. How we work part-time jobs or we just jobs in general. it's hard finding a job that works with your schedule, especially with us going to school, and one that's able to be cool with like, hey, so I actually just got this gig for this Friday. And that's the thing about uh, films. Sometimes you get hit up like last minute, like, hey, this guy called off. We need like a camera out. Can you make it tomorrow? And and it's things like that. It's really hard. And again, consideration, you got bill. We all got bills to pay. Rent. It's a lot that goes
Just
into
the cost of living
yeah,
in a place like Los Angeles. let
exactly.
alone, it's
Just people don't understand. I mean, I think people just see like, oh, he's an actor, he's a filmmaker, he's got to be. No, especially when you're starting off, you do not.
especially with the social media craze that comes with it, where you'll see is that thing going?
Yeah.
Okay. I keep looking over at it, like, but what I will say is people see a very small window into your life and they think, oh yeah, he's doing good for themselves, but at the end of the day, they see a short film you finally had released, and it's like, well, they don't also see, the hundreds of other auditions you do over the course of however long that don't lead to anything at all.
Exactly, they're just auditions.
Yeah, and that's all they are, and that's all they
are.
ever are. Or the constant financial burdens that come with it.
The long hours on set.
Yeah, just those kinds of things. But I will say that it comes with it. I have a friend who I met over at the. This isn't a promotion, but go check out the New Beverly Cinema. But I've actually made a lot of friends there, and a lot of great people there, and just in general at the, especially at those revival hub. That's what they call it, at least, like the theaters. Is you'll meet a lot of people, and one guy I met there, he's a great guy. He told me he does filmmaking full time. That he recently had gone to a VFX screening for the movie The Marvels, the latest MCU film, and he was explaining how they were meeting a bunch of the VFX coordinators and people that had worked on the film, and he was saying how he genuinely believes that they're the real stars of that film. It's not Brie Larson or any of those other people. Granted, great to them, and God bless them for putting in their work, the actors and directors, but those people worked, put in tooth and nail to make sure these VFX and special effects and animation or whatever that goes into these films, they're the ones that make it happen, and they're the ones putting in the long hours and making so it's definitely, I could see his point of what he's trying to say of they're the real stars at the end of the day because they're the ones that made it happen.
And it just goes back to showing what I said. Like it's a team thing. It's not just one person. It's not just the actor, and it's not the director. It's not just the thing. It's a round thing. Everybody takes a part of it. What was I gonna say? We were talking. Oh, the whole. The struggles, and I like how you said it's like the social media thing. How like people only post what they want you to see. So you're here, party, you're at the beach, smiley face, but deep down, everyone's going through something. So and it's nice that people are expressing themselves and showing they're having a good time. But like you said, it's you can't judge someone. Or you shouldn't judge someone in general, but you can't look at this person's picture and say like, wow, they must live a happy life. Like, no.
You never know what somebody's doing.
You don't know, yeah. You don't know what goes on behind the closed doors. But yeah, man, definitely, I think, again, it gets lonely. Yeah, it gets hella lonely. And like you said, it's not even just for filmmakers or anyone chasing their dream. And I think anyone that's ever made a living out of it, been successful at it, is because they took that route, man. And of course, one thing about Hollywood, it's a big thing to have connections and networking. But there are stories of people who actually started from ground zero, no connection, and had to fucking work their way to that point. So, yeah, people. And it's gonna it gets lonely too because it's gonna be people, especially friends and family.
That don't see your vision.
Don't see the vision, and it's something as people I think that's what separates people from dream chasers to people who actually achieve their dreams, is that you say you want this as bad as you say you want it, but when it came down to letting go of hanging out with friends, you couldn't do it. And now you complain that, oh yeah, this route, it's not for everyone. It's like, yeah, it's not for everyone. Maybe a family member came at you and was like, listen, you need to find an actual job. It's like this. I mean, look, I believe in you, but I support you, but let's just be realistic here. You decided to take that that word from your mom or your dad, that relative or whatnot, and decided to close your open-minded, life's full of optimistic opportunities to, he's right, let's be realistic about this. Is like, and I think J. Cole, I don't know, it might have been a podcast that he was in or an interview, but I think part of being successful is you gotta have this open-minded and acknowledge the fact that it's like out there, it's like
It's out there, but it's gonna
it's
be hard
possible.
to reach. But it's very possible.
It's very possible. Even if it's 1% chance, dude, it's possible. I think that's what separates people who actually achieve it. You know what I'm saying?
Something I was always told by my parents, and again, my parents they didn't have easy upbringings, and that's kind of why I think it helped me out, give a lot of perspective as I grew up. But it was always, I'm not going to be disappointed if you aim high and miss, but I will be a little disappointed if you aim low and hit.
Yeah, that's you said it good right there. That's a damn.
Yeah, it's like, if you go and become a fucking garbage man, well, okay, well, that's fine. But I mean, that's not a bad job. You could actually make a decent living off that. No disrespect. Thanks for picking up the trash. But no, but I will say it goes back to what you were saying. It's just the perspective of knowing that you wanted to do it and you took the chance. And I'm not going to say that, like, that it's going to come without flaws. It's just going to happen. That's just the life. That's the human experience. And that's the best part about it. But I can't say it's just always going to be a nice feeling of, like, when you do make it, if that is something you really, really, really want to do, the best thing is to just keep at it, because you will get it eventually. You just need to continue. It's all about the persistence.
Yeah.
And the only time you only fail when you quit.
Exactly.
And that's always what I say. And that's what keeps me going is
There will be moments where you just want to fucking give up, quit. But I guess you just gotta keep going. 'Cause I'm not gonna lie, in the past year that I've been in school, there's been so many damn moments where I'm like, I'm over this, I'm done. But I'm still hanging on. Still hanging on.
Tell me about it. I used to model. I'm just
And you still got 2 more years, bro. We're taking you're taking the associates route, so you better fucking.
I will say this too, like you were saying, going back to it as an actor, not to cut you off, but you were saying is I feel like the associates is kind of good enough, because I mean I feel like going for a bachelor's it would just be a lot of money, a lot of extra stuff you wouldn't really need. Or I just feel like I got what I needed from the 18-month program. It's like, what, I think I got what I can, and I'm gonna go with that, because it's like, for one thing, being in film school, I've definitely fallen in love with cameras and a lot of that, the intricacies of it. Gaffing is actually really cool. And I would say editing. As much as I hated editing at first, because I'm going to say this on air, avid media composer is some of the most hipster stuff I've ever had to deal with. It was just, but once you get the hang of it, it's pretty cool. But Adobe Premiere is the way to go.
Did you ever?
Man.
Did you ever throw a fit like that one dude?
No, I did not throw a fit like that one dude. And that guy wasn't throwing. Actually, no, he was throwing a fit over that. Never mind. But I will say again, digital editing too. That made me fall in love with it, because that instructor was.
He was pretty cool.
I think we'd say his name on the air. Screw it.
Yeah,
that's him. What? Oh, you bleeped it out? No, but yeah, I will say editing is definitely fun, because there's a lot of perspective of how much editing, editing a film can make or break a film, especially when it comes to the final product.
Yeah.
And
I'm telling you about editing. I'm gonna have to show you the new cut I have, because I added some temp music to your shit.
Nice. A new short film come out. J.A. Levi. I was going to say Levy. I was going to say Levy. I'm so sorry. Yeah, Levi directed a new piece.
And production too. Yeah, I did.
Check it out.
Was not out yet, but
at some point.
At some point, I'll promote it. This guy. But
don't be
you
shy.
You guys see? Yeah, you guys see?
Don't.
We've had to work with this since day one, but cool guy. Yeah, definitely. We'll check that out after. What else? I was gonna say, but yeah, like you said, at least for us, since we're really pursuing acting more than filmmaking in general, yeah, I think the associates, at least for us, is sufficient. Unless we want, because I know you want to be, you're taking the production route, right? So if you were to be a producer, that's obviously bachelor's is definitely gonna benefit you. You know what I mean? But for people who, we just really look forward to acting in the long run. Again, even I know we're working behind the camera anyway, but I think associates for us is sufficient. We got learning just a bit about everything, and getting a basic understanding of everything. I think that actually helps us out too. Um,
And then also, I think, guess what I want to say also about fucking chasing your dreams. You're gonna go broke doing so. Cause I'm like right there. Yes, you better go broke.
Motherfucker, I'm on
Financially.
negative right now. You talking about being broke, bro? Yes,
Yeah,
yes, you're gonna go
I get
broke.
it. I know there's people out there that's worse out than me, but at the same time, it's like,
What's it's I'm glad that you said it for everyone because they can obviously relate. Yes, let's talk about the things that people don't talk about. Again, people only see the flashy things, the nice lifestyle, the everything, but everything we are like, bro. This is what I like about how your podcast is called the Come Up Podcast. You know, now we're in the journey right now. We're coming up. We're coming up. But it's nice that we're talking about this. That's the point. That's what you made this podcast for, to actually talk about our
Yep.
current status right now.
Definitely.
And I don't doubt that, like, down the line we'll be able to come back, like, in a better place than we were, if not successful, but way better place than we were, making probably decent money off of what we're doing, and talk about back then and how it's changed to now. So again, yeah, bro. Obviously, that was a given. Going broke. I mean, but again, that also separates. I think that would be another factor that would separate someone and be like, "Yo, dude, I just lost all my money, and yeah, I'm gonna quit on filmmaking because that's you need money to be a filmmaker. You do need, and it's like, well, hold on. Well, this person quit. I'm probably gonna go even more into debt. Probably take out a few loans to make this other films because, dog, that's just the mind that I have. Like, bro, it's worth, like, yes, it sucks, man. I might even be homeless, but like I'm working towards something. And again, it's the fact that you're working towards something bigger. It's not just yourself, because this film that is probably gonna put me $20,000 in the loan debt or whatnot could practically save somebody's life, save some people's lives out there, maybe in a country that we don't even know. But you know what I mean? To save a life over a
I guess
film.
that's also the other reason why I fucking want to do this shit.
That's what. But you know what I'm saying? And that's it helps. It's bearable when you're doing it for a greater cause than just yourself. You know what I mean? To really, and the thing that sucks about it though is that you'll probably never even meet these people that you've inspired or helped or even saved. You'll probably never meet them, but to know that you helped somebody, bro. The way that a film or another actor saved you or helped you at one point when you were down and whatnot. That's something right there. That's special. That's precious. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I definitely agree. I would say too, is just when it comes to the thing. I mean, I'm fortunate that I have family I'm living with currently, but at some point it's like there's a sense of that. But not everybody has that, and it's
Right.
unfortunate. People need to just come and do their thing, and it costs a lot of it. But bottom line is, it's this industry isn't impossible, and it is a very tough one, but it's very, very plausible. Despite what anybody may say, who's going to pay for that, how are you going to do that, whatever the case may be, from wherever you're coming from. And I feel like being in a place like Los Angeles, you meet a lot of perspective from people around the world, around here. It's actually funny. I remember one of my good friends, he's actually one of the first friends I made upon moving out here, just organically. And not through film school, it wasn't through that. It was just I met him. He's a great guy. He's one of my good friends now. He's from Maryland. And he moved here. He's living on his sister's couch. And he's just trying to do it. He's just trying to make it happen. And I've had the honor of calling him one of my friends, and it's really funny because it's just like the case of like you meet somebody from a different group. He grew up on the East Coast, for me it was going to San Francisco. For you guys, it was just here in L.A. Him, it was
Yeah.
going to Baltimore or New York. I mean, granted, it was a distance for him to go to New York, but he would do it. He actually told me a story recently where he went to Centralia. Have you guys ever heard of that place?
No.
Have you guys ever heard of the game series Silent Hill?
Yeah.
Off topic.
Yes.
That town is what inspired the city of, or the town, I'm sorry, of Silent Hill in the video games.
What the?
You can look into it. It's a really crazy little sidebar, but in the 1960s, there was a little town called Centralia in Pennsylvania that basically had a minefield underneath the town. And
You would know.
it was I'm sorry. It was I would know, yes. But it was actually a landfill that they were trying to burn to get rid of, which was common practice at the time. and they ended up lighting a bunch of coals. To this day, since 1962, it's been burning underground.
Dang.
And you could even see the gases.
Oh, I've heard about that
Yeah,
place.
you could even see it coming out of the ground, the smoke. And it started releasing so much gases, people had to evacuate from the area. But I just found out about this recently, which this is probably old news to some people, but it was just interesting to see. But he told me about it. Anyway, going back to it, it's just meeting him, somebody from like the East Coast, or friends that I met that are from another girl that I've met recently. She was great. She's from Germany. She told me Los Angeles was depicted her in Europe as it is to most people. Like, it's this lavish, very bourgeois city with all this extravagant things, and that's where the celebrities live in. And she said that she came here and she went, wow, it's not really that. It's actually, to tell you the truth, there's a lot of slums. That was the word she used, and I went, I'm surprised you knew what that meant. And I went, I mean, it's just the reality of it. It is.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm used to it because I used to come here and visit family. I knew what to expect, but some people don't. It just really shows that the facade of how the city is sold to people.
No, it is a beautiful city, but when
Yes.
you put all these shit that's like
With due time, everything has its issues, and I mean, I see Los Angeles for what it is. I mean, but I'm not going to pretend it doesn't have those issues.
Yeah.
It very much does. No disrespect to anybody from here. I mean, I might as well be from here. No.
Anything else on your mind, bro? No.
Not really.
So
I guess the last thing. What's your guys' favorite movies?
that's the
What's the first one that comes to
same
mind?
shit they always ask us in like the first few classes of film school. What is
Yeah,
your favorite
That's just
film?
so fucking stupid. Like,
And why is it
bruh.
stupid?
I don't
I was gonna be like that Kevin James meme. No,
dude, it's hard to narrow it down. I mean,
but I know yours.
well, it's one of my favorites. It's not the most favorite, but yeah, I think great films. I think one of the ones is Good Will Hunting.
Why?
What?
Because I was smiling.
Good Will Hunting. I'd say.
Yeah, Good Will Hunting's great.
What'd you think I was gonna say?
I was gonna make a joke. I was gonna go, yeah, Johnny Depp in 21 Jump Street.
Well, that's one of my favorite TV series.
That's a
yeah,
series?
that's a series.
Not the
right?
film with
Not the
Jonah Hill
film.
and Channing Tatum.
Yeah, that's one of Johnny Depp, 21 Jump Street
I've never
series.
actually seen that show.
That's a pretty good show, dude. It's a pretty what you're watching. Well, at least watch like the first 3 seasons, because after the second season it starts getting a little bit showboaty. Like it actually touches.
Is he in it for all of it? Johnny Depp?
Well, there was 5 seasons. He was in the four of them.
Oh, okay.
And then if you look at the interviews and stuff, he actually wanted to leave because it started getting showboaty and stuff. I mean, it pretty touches on like important, controversial like subjects, and some great topics, some great themes to those episodes. But eventually, you'll notice it. It starts getting to the point where it's like, let's add this character and let's like make it this and that, and it's like.
Honestly, I've heard
Yeah.
people tell me that like it's a little, like you're saying, showboaty, and it becomes it's very cheesy. It's very like dated for the 80s. But I personally like that stuff. I usually am able to get into that kind of stuff. But I would be interested to give the show a try.
At least watch the first season. I'm pretty sure you'll want to keep watching it, dude. It's a pretty good show, dude.
A show I recently started picking up is The Wire. I finished the first season recently, and I've always put off that show. Have you guys seen that show?
Yeah.
You guys heard of it?
I have.
The Wire. It's a show actually based off of the I mean, it's not really based off of anything in particular. It's basically just based off of like a lot of the crime like underworld of Baltimore, Maryland, where it details with all these very intricate characters like Jimmy McNulty, Stringer Bell. Stringer Bell is played by Idris Elba, and
nice.
That's probably one of his best performances of his whole career. He plays basically a drug like kingpin in a way of like this, but he's under the head of a bigger drug lord. The first season deals with the drug trade of Baltimore, and then it has a lot of other actors like Dominic West, Lance Reddick's in it. They're all really good. They're all fantastic. But it from what I've heard, the show is actually based and was created by a former journalist and investigator for Maryland, who had actually worked very closely to make that show as authentic as he could. So the show is very authentic from what I've been told, and I've really been enjoying it. It's very interesting to watch.
You over here, Mr. Falling Asleep, bro.
I'm good. I'm good.
Which one of your favorite? Well, I know we're talking about shows right now, but favorite film?
Yeah.
Always, I always gotta go with fucking Shawshank Redemption.
Dude, I didn't see that till recently, and I want it's got to be in my top 10
You-
too, cause, dude, that whole, I was like, what?
You know, it's one of my favorite lines of that movie.
What?
Yeah, when Clancy Brown's just, oh, that's funny. You know, you're gonna look a lot more funny sucking my dick with no teeth. And then he's just, your IRS is gonna take it. And he goes, step aside, Bert. This fucker's having himself an accident. It's funny. That's Mr. Krabs.
That's Mr. Krabs?
I swear to God,
Hey.
that's Clancy Brown. He voices Mr. Krabs. You can look into it.
What the fuck?
Yep. Hey, it's funny. Think about it. What are you doing staring at? Back to work.
Clancy Brown.
That's Mr. Krabs. I swear to God, he's a phenomenal actor. Of course, he was in Starship Troopers, which is great. That's one of Verhoeven's best films, aside from Showgirls.
What? It is him,
Yep.
dude. What?
I'm telling you, dude. Yeah, no, he's a great actor. That guy.
This dude would know also, so.
He's a voice actor. He's predominantly voice actor. Well, at least more in recent times, but he did start just acting in general. But yeah. Another very weird film he was in was called John Dies at the End, where it's like this guy tripping on this like weird drug that's going around. It's a very strange film, but he's in it too, and he's actually really funny in it.
But yeah, I was gonna say, I've always said Good Will Hunting when they asked me that question. Good Will Hunting's a pretty good film. Put Matt Damon and Ben Affleck on the map.
Mm-hmm.
What, dude? Say it. But yeah, I mean, what was I gonna say? Oh shit. There's nothing more that's already getting quiet,
Well,
bro.
I guess, yeah.
Well, to end it, is there anything you guys want to promote or anything we should be looking out for? Or anything you want to start with Abraham? Anything you have going on that working on something that we should
I don't.
look forward to?
It's getting close to the holidays, so I really don't.
I would say for me, of course, my channel, of course, is still going. The true crime one. If you guys ever want to check it out, we cover true crime stories in a nutshell, 1 minute or less. Grim and Gruesome, at Grim and Gruesome, please.
On where?
On YouTube, TikTok. Eventually leaning toward doing full-length, horizontal videos at some point. We actually have a new video coming out very soon, so we're still keeping up to date on that. Beyond that, I would say no. It's been a pleasure time. You guys have enjoyed it.
What about you?
Well, as Isaiah would say, not to toot my own horn, but I've worked on a handful of projects this year, and they've all, for the most part, been in post-production stage, being edited and whatnot. So I can't give you an exact date on like what, look forward to when this comes out. It'll be on my IG as they come out, promoting them. As far as music goes, taking a hiatus from music to focus on filmmaking. I know December I'm going to be using. We actually have a film that we're going to be doing, and then you're going to be. Well, guys, we're going to be shooting a film in December. But besides that film, I'm really just going to take the time to just relax. I think, like we've talked about, dude, it's been pretty tiring, and I kind of just want to take December, to just rest. So as far as promoting anything, right now I don't. Again, most of the projects that I've worked on are still in post production stage. Taking a little break from music. So other than that, actually we're looking forward to. It's in post production, but the film that we just shot a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
I was gonna say that, but we don't even know when that's gonna
Yeah,
come
that's
out.
why I didn't bring it up. Is like,
Yeah. Well, other than
Well,
that,
it's not worth bringing up. Yeah, it's coming out at some point.
in post production again. So, yeah. Other than that's it from me. Thank you for having us, Abe. Anything you wanna close it off with?
I guess before this episode, I might have one or two more before this episode coming out. I'm not 100% sure on that yet. I don't know when this episode's gonna come out. It'll come out when it comes out.
Well, it better come out. Yeah, yeah. Oh, you're trying to look for a date to like.
Sometime before the end of the year, this will be out. That's 100%.
Well, it's a good thing we only got a month left of the year, because I was about to say, when the fuck? What if we were in fucking March, dude? What the fuck?
Nah, March that would be too far out.
Well, try not to think about it too much, man. Again, and I guess that would have been another thing to talk about is like, just do it, man. You know, just don't be too detail perfect oriented. Just fucking put it out. If it's done, put it out. You know. So yeah, that's it. Thank you, man, for having us again.
It was a pleasure.
It was a pleasure. It was a great time. You want to say something to close it off, or you're the host?
Yeah.
Oh, looking for your prompt. He's looking for his prompt.
And I guess.
Here we go.
You'll chop it up.
You'll chop it up.
And I guess that's a wrap for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed being part of our conversation with Isaiah and Alex. And this has been the Come Up. And I will catch you guys on the next one.